This is From Hero to Zero, a show about the misconception of the demise of the music industry. We talk to heroes to make sense of the alleged zero, the music business. Hi Sarah, how are you?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you.
It's very good to meet you finally.
Yeah, great to be here.
Great. So Sarah, you are 27 years old, you're a jazz pianist, composer, singer, and winner of the 2012 Area Award for Best Jazz Album.
Yes.
You released 3 albums. You're from Australia.
Yes.
You studied jazz in Australia and at Berkeley in the States. Mm-hmm. And you've worked with legendary jazz musicians such as James Morrison.
Yes.
And as well with Michael Bublé.
Yes.
As well. So how does a young talented musician like yourself start out in a small niche like jazz?
Well, I had a blues piano teacher to begin with as a child. I met him when I was 9, and he really showed me some amazing blues piano. And also he turned me on to Oscar Peterson and Gene Harris. And so I actually thought at around the age of 13, 14 that these great musicians, Oscar Peterson, Ray Brown, Gene Harris, that they didn't really exist, only in my world. So I was really excited to be able to find out that there was a niche called jazz, and that was my niche too. So it all started with the blues and then some inspirational jazz pianists.
That's very interesting. And you never thought about starting out maybe a little more with pop music or something like that? It would be easier maybe? I
like all music, and I'm a very big fan of the song, I love good songs. So the thing is that my parents weren't really that into music so much. They're not musicians. I don't come from a musical family. But my dad really thought that I should play music. That was very important to him, that I learned the piano. So I did start off with classical music, and I love the radio, and I love whatever was on the radio. But when I heard the blues, I was moved. And then when I heard jazz, that was it for me. I thought, wow, I don't know what it is, but I know that it's me and that I love it. Yeah.
Now you've been in the music business for multiple years. Is it the way you expected it to be?
I think it's everything you expect it to be and everything unexpected as well. It's definitely both, Growing up, I just wanted to play. I wanted to play and I wanted to be part of it, and I wanted to meet great musicians and study and learn and have great adventures with the band touring, and it's all that, And also there were probably things that when you dream you're not quite aware of, like how hard it is sometimes, and how much you must practice, what it takes to become really great at your craft, what it takes to master something. Actually takes a lot more time and dedication than perhaps you initially thought of when you were just sort of fiddling around and going, this is great, oh, what if we could tour, and it's not always like that. But at the same time, I love to write and play music and get things right and take the time to do it right. That means a lot to me. So,
talking about craft, you studied at 2 different colleges, one in Australia and the other one in the States. Was it calculated for you to study music in order to maybe play music for a living? Was that something that was in your, let's call it, master plan? To become a musician, a professional musician? Yes,
I mean, when I saw, there's an Australian jazz musician who you mentioned before, James Morrison, and he's huge in Australia for Australian jazz. And so I had been checking out Oscar Peterson, Gene Harris, Ray Brown, and I didn't think that anybody else liked them, because all of my friends who were the same age didn't like them. They liked the Spice Girls and the Backstreet Boys. And I liked, these older jazz guys from America. But when I saw James Morrison play for the first time at 13, I realized, it's not my secret hobby. You can actually do it for a living. And look, there's someone doing it who's going all around the world playing, and he plays great, and look what fun they're having on stage and what great music they're making, and look how wonderful this all is, So he really inspired me, I think, and showed me that there is a path to this dream that I had, that you can do it.
if we look back to 2012 when you won the ARIA Award, was it unexpected, or did you have, or maybe the record company or your manager, kind of a strategy to, how to do it? Maybe more publicity, play more gigs?
No, I mean, it was a complete surprise. And also, I had just left Australia to go to Berklee College of Music in America.
Okay.
And I missed the call. And so someone emailed me and said, "Sarah, pick up your phone. You've just won the ARIA for Best Jazz Album of the Year." And I was like, "What? You're kidding me?" So yeah, it was a complete surprise. It was a really tough year as well. So I had basically written it off. I wasn't,
Okay.
So, but it was, winning awards is a nice thing. It's not everything, but it was a big honor for me to win this one.
I can imagine. And did it help to boost your career? Maybe more live gigs through that, or more interviews and so on?
I think a lot of little things come together to create one big thing, which is in this instance what you're referring to is a successful music career. And I don't think that this one thing opened all the doors. Awards are great, to be recognized by your peers, and a little bit helps, and certainly a lot of people in Australia know all about the ARIAs, so when you say you've won an ARIA, it's like, wow. But I think in terms of opening a lot of doors, it's everything that you do, from playing the music to, playing with great people to working hard and winning awards.
Sure. If we talk about the music marketplace in general, you're a jazz musician. Jazz, thinking back, traditionally came as an album art form. So you record, just say, 10 songs, you put them on an album. Nowadays, with this fast-paced society, especially single-driven music market, do you think that is a problem, or what is your take on it? Would you still consider just recording albums instead of just going with single tracks?
I see what you're saying. I love the album, and that's very important to me because it's a world. You have your 10, 11, 12 songs to really create a world, and I think that what I love about the great albums that I love, like, even take something like Miles Davis' Kind of Blue, that has a sound, that album, it's such a unique sound, and it runs through each one of the tracks. If you only listen to one of those songs off that album, you would miss part of it, I think, because you're not hearing the whole thing. A lot of things are like that. Like one of Van Morrison's albums I love, Astral Weeks, has a sound running through it. Oscar Peterson's Night Train, that album, that has a sound running through it. So, yeah, I think, okay, there's always going to be a hit. There's always going to be one song that stands out above others, but I am a big fan, personally, of taking the time to listen to a whole album so that you get the real feeling of it.
Last question of our interview. Do you think that music streaming killed the music star?
Ooh. I don't know. I just, I don't know, because also I'm very old-fashioned, right? So like I said, I'm not exactly on Instagram, and I'm not really on Twitter. And I'm a big fan of jazz, which was at its height probably in the 50s, 60s, of the kind of jazz that I loved. I just think as long as there's good music and good musicians out there playing it, then there's always a place for the music star, The star is the music. So,
well,
yeah.
That's very beautifully said. Sarah, thank you very, very much.
Thank
All the
you.
best for the future. Thank you very much for the interview. It was very interesting.
You're welcome. No worries. Thanks.